Okay, we're live. I do believe we're live. It's just you and me, Preston.
Woohoo!
All right. So we can actually do this with Skype then, and
Yeah, we can do exactly what we've been doing and just go
okay.
live
So
with
this
it.
is our breakfast club in the morning. We get together every morning and do a little bit of trading. We kind of look at the charts, try to analyze what's going on with the charts. We try to read the charts by the minute. We try to trade PD array to PD array. We like to trade off a specific hour. We like time and price, and we're looking for specific setups for trading our live account. Well, it's not really live, it's semi-live. It's a funded account. We're trying to get funded, and we're trying to get it to the point where we get it fully funded. So we're using the principles, getting together and having a friendly environment that we call the Breakfast Club in the morning. So welcome to the Breakfast Club. You got anything you want to say, Stephen? Or Preston?
No, you pretty much covered it.
All right, excellent.
It's exciting.
So we'll do this live. This will be the first one, so forgive me for it being a little rough around the edges to get started, but we're just getting started, so we'll kind of learn it a little bit as we go. We're looking for right now, we've been trading gold today, and we had a nice little pop today, and we're looking at this fair value gap. We look at this breaker over here, last up close candle for a run below an old low. So we got a nice little kick off of that this morning for a run up. We started unloading our positions at the end of the fair value gap that was created inside the down close candle here, this CIBI. And we unloaded a portion here, a portion at the rejection block, and as Michael always says, if you start to get into this wick, you make sure you start unloading a portion there. So we did, and it started to reverse on us. So we saw down at the 1 minute level, we noticed that there was a break in structure, came back up inside breaker, right here, hit it nicely, and started to slowly unwind and spool back in the opposite direction. We'll wait for another break below this level here. There's a wick here that breaks below, so now you're looking between here, this order block here. We come back into it right there, perfect tag, and then we continue short down below an old low. We're looking for a fill in this fair value gap here, which it gets, and we're looking for further continuation. So we're looking for 50% of that range that we look at on the hourly. We're looking for it to come back into this blue bar you see right here is actually a daily fair value gap. I'll show you the daily fair value gap here. So this daily fair value gap is sitting, let me get this a little bigger for you, right here, between there and there. We always cut through candles, like Michael says. We cut through candles here, so it's our fair value gap. We want to see it come back, find some support here now. Get support off the top of this and start continuation on the upside for gold. So I like to see a body break above these things, not just wicks. I like to see a body break above, then come back, tag it, and then leave. So that's what we're kind of looking for here, is a reversal. So this is the reversal we're seeing it come back into the top of our fair value gap. 50% of the range that was created in this last little price leg. We want to see that come back to pretty much inside that fair value gap here on the hourly, and also the top of the daily fair value gap, which would be the continuation back to rebalance this price range here. And then we want to see probably tomorrow, because tomorrow you get usually a Thursday reversal. We want to see something kind of break out from here. But right now we're just looking at a nice little return back into 50% of that range and see how it reacts off of there. Not that it's going to stay perfect, but 50% is also 50% of this candle. We broke above it, that validates it here. We break above it, come back down, and we get into the midpoint or threshold, which is also confluence, top of the fair value gap, also the fill of this last little price leg here. And then we'll see what happens from that point. So we're kind of looking there, fair value gap. There's lots of confluence that says this is an area that might give us some support. I'm not quite sure right now, so let's just wait and see what happens. So far it's unwinding the way we want it to come back into here. I'm going to take off all these other trades so they don't get in the way. So that's what we're kind of looking for the next hour or the end of the day. That's your, we may actually even get a run to here for the next, where are we into New York lunch. So 10, 11, 12. So we're just coming up for 1:45 New York time. $15-minute. That has a nice little range from there to there. 50% gets us inside that fair value gap there. We got another one sitting down in here. Order block. This order block over that order block, because that's the body of the candle that actually extends below the range. So that's the one I'm looking for. 62% lines us up perfectly. If we have a retracement back into this range here, 62% lines us up perfectly on top of that and puts us in the middle of that fair, or close to the middle of the fair value gap. So we go from a premium to a discount. That'd be a nice little discount range to pick something up. But again, now you're in a kind of a consolidation here over this little range. So I'd like to see it break out of here, or at least if you're going to use inside the range trading, you're looking at this order block here and that order block there, because that is the higher range. We've extended the range above the old highs here, so that becomes the new external range liquidity. The highest body up close candle. We're not worried about the wicks right now, just the highest body up close candle inside this small range here. This is technically the breaker right here. That's the body that actually goes above, was the highest up close candle, even though that wick extends us up. We come back inside it. We drove through, the wick actually drove right through it, but we're coming back into the range, so we're pretty much stuck inside this little range right here. Premium moving to discount. So we're looking for maybe picking up something inside this order block to run back into getting above this fair value gap. So we'll come down, find some support here, or hopefully find some support inside here. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We're not just going to take everything that comes along. Looking at finding some support inside this order block. Then if we can get on top of this fair value gap here, use it as a step to get through this guy here, to get a step on top of it, drive through it, come back, find some support at the top of it, push back up, and then start using these fair value gaps to get some support to start a new leg to the upside. But we're not there yet. We're just kind of looking for a nice little slow, steady drift down. We'll probably run this out for another 15 or 20 minutes. I just want to see how this kind of plays out. This is my first video live. So this is the Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Darren Hancock. And I have my buddy Preston Orm on today, who's very quiet. You can say something, Preston, if you like.
But you were explaining so many good things.
Yeah, I like looking at fair value gaps like this. When you get a little gap over here, I love the way Michael talks about how we cut through candles. We don't always just look at what's happening on the left. Like this is all, like retail might think that this is all done with once we've traded through it, but there's small little pockets of price action inside there that you can actually, it's going to come back to it and find some support at it. And you will see this multiple times in our discussions, how these fair value gaps provide, or SIBIs or BISIs, is the terminology that we will use to either find support at, get on top of to go up. And I'm not inventing. I've only got a couple of things that I've seen that Michael has touched on, which I can't say is my original idea, but I've got it down to minutes. I look at very precisely how time and price can be affected very much by time. And you can expect to see an unspooling at specific times. And as you come to the Breakfast Club, I'll share those with you. You can use them or not use them. It's entirely up to you. We're trying to create a nice, happy environment here, no trolls, and just enjoy the art of trading. And it's an art. It truly is an art. And we're trying to take our funded account into a funded account. We're trying to pass the challenge and then move this forward. And we've got a small group of us that are just starting out with it. So it's all just demo right now. We don't encourage that anybody go out there and start trading live. That's not the purpose of this, is to trade live. It's actually to learn how to read the tape. And if you so choose to trade live or demo or funded account, whatever you choose, you go right ahead. It's entirely up to you. I am not here to tell you what you can and can't do. I'm not here to give you advice. We're just here to read the tape as much as we can, and you guys take it from there, what you want to do.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment. I like that. Entertainment purposes. And some people might be offended by the fact that they say the market is not a place to entertain yourself. But if you get an idea of how to read the charts, the stress level that you're experiencing as a new trader may be super intense, and we still deal with that on a day-to-day basis. I've been with Michael's Concepts now for 7 years, and I still battle with one big thing, and that's that doubt, self-doubt. And even though I can read the charts pretty good, I still battle with that emotional side, right? That's that side that you're self-doubt. You start to see something and you second guess yourself. You got all this negative talk. You got to get past that, and that is literally going to be the thing that will hold back your trading. You can learn these concepts really, really well, but then it gets to the point where you've got to learn how to get past you. You get in the way of your trading far more often than the quality of the trade you're taking. Once you get the concepts, your trading will get better and better. Once you get a hold of yourself, that's the next step. Understand it, then learn how to manage your own emotions. And we're going to talk about those as we go through this as well. So you can see how this fair value gap here, see that there's a little bits of sensitivity. Now I know the candle's still forming, but there's sensitivity here. It's just what I want to point out is it's an area of sensitivity. It's also inside this fair value gap. So if you start to overlap these things now, and I pull this one down to here, and you start going like that, and you're looking at the midpoint. So we start splitting this thing up, like Michael says, into 4 quadrants. We start to see how each one of these areas start to provide some sensitivity. So the quarter, the half, the 75%, and then the full close. So you can see how it's bouncing off of that little thing there. So is it going to drive through it? Or are we going to find some precision here and turn around and start to come back up into this gap, back into this order block? And it's still not 50%. So we're still in a premium of this range that's been created in here. Because remember, we're trading on the 15-minute time frame. We're not worried about higher time frames right now. We're trading inside this. So this is like scalping. So we're playing inside that gap.
Hey, Darren, I'm going to let you continue on with your stream, and I'm going to go. I'm done for the day.
All right, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow.
I'll get me out of here. All right.
Okay.
See you then.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. I'm just going to let this play out for another few more minutes to see how this fair value gap back here on the daily, whether or not it provides us a little bit of support. 50% retracement is what we've been looking for on the higher time frame. Just bobbing up and down. Let's look at the hourly here. Coming back to finish off that portion there is what we want to look for. It's driving into the 50% now. It's like a hammer just driving down. Blam, blam. It's like it's boring down into the ground. I like it. Almost reminds me of a heartbeat. We're looking at the financial heartbeat of the world, my friends. The financial heartbeat of the world. My profession is a paramedic firefighter. Been a paramedic firefighter for 30 years. So I've been reading ECG strips like crazy for many, many years. And this is like reading an ECG. It's like reading the financial pulse of the planet. Right? It's like looking at the cardiac beat of the financial world. It's kind of interesting. So I've really taken to enjoying the charts. I've been loving Michael's stuff. And I encourage you to, if you're a new trader, to take everything Michael is saying. He's here till November. Take his stuff, learn it, enjoy it. Here is where we're going to try to apply a lot of what he's teaching. And we're doing it in a friendly, stress-free environment. So if you want to just come and just share some ideas, have some laughs, and watch the markets and watch how they unfold, and we'll kind of just go through what techniques we've learned from him over the years. But if you're new, by all means, I encourage you not to be here. You shouldn't be here. You should be with Michael. He is teaching some absolutely amazing stuff. You get to learn from the horse's mouth. You get to learn from the guy who codified this whole thing. He truly is amazing at what he does. So he'll take you from, I didn't know what the markets were when I got started. I didn't know what Forex stood for. I didn't know what cable meant. I thought, I got to get cable? I got to go out and buy some cable? I think, oh, I've got cable internet. Then he started talking about fiber. I thought, geez, what is this? Like, do I have to get fiber in my diet? Is he talking about how you eat food? I didn't know what the heck he was talking about. So cable and fiber, British pound and the euro was fiber. And I was like, oh, okay. I had to wait in the background going, maybe somebody will give out a hint of what these things mean. So finally they said what they were, and it's like, oh, slowly started learning over time. So I came in as green as you can be to the whole idea of the market. And over 7 years, I've learned a tremendous amount from Michael. And thank you, Michael, if you ever happen to listen to any of this stuff. Thank you so much for everything you've shared with us. I would love to be a conduit for some of the opportunities for people who have learned your skills to continue moving that forward. But like I say, I'm not here to teach you everything Michael's or better or reinvent the wheel. I fully tip my hat and say everything that you're going to learn from me, I've learned from Michael. And if I do something wrong, Michael's probably taught it right, and I've screwed it up somewhere along the line. So I give him full credit for any success that we make here along the way. And our objective is to try and take a funded account to a point where we can all make a little bit of money on the side, if that's the choice. And we're doing it through a fun little, everybody get together for what I call the breakfast club. And you get together in the morning. We get together here at 7:30, Canada time, which is 9:30 New York time. We get here for the open, and we look for a specific setup, essentially the silver bullet setup. And there's a couple of other setups that we like to use. And yeah, that's where we'll be every morning. So we've almost hit our objective for the day. This is the top of the fair value gap. Now I'm looking for it to react off of here. Come back, maybe fill this thing in here. It'd be nice if it stayed open, hit the top of that, and then started running back up again. So nobody's in here. Nobody's here anymore. So this is what my objective was for the day. So when we come back tomorrow, we'll see if this objective was completed, and we'll see if we're going to start heading up here for a reversal on Thursday and reach for those old highs. We're also looking for, on a higher time frame, weekly, we're looking to get back up into this fair value gap right here on the weekly, which I like to have set as gray. I don't know why I learned this when Michael was teaching about set up your charts. That's the setup. I like to use a gray for a weekly. I like to use a blue for a daily and a red for a monthly. So when we get down into the daily range, that's the weekly objective that we're aiming for. We tagged it over here. We tagged it here. And we're looking for another big push back up. So we've run down, we've tagged the top of the fair value gap on the daily here. We've got support at it. We've broken above this fair value gap. Now, like I've mentioned, we want to start finding support at this and then starting to continue to push up. We want to get, now we're using that step. Michael likes to talk about the rock climbing. Get a little groove in the rock, you get some foothold, and then you start to move up to a higher time frame objective on the weekly. So that's where we're kind of looking to run this for the rest of the week. Our foothold, then the next foothold is on here. Get above this. This then becomes our support for wick, body, to continue pushing through. So we got a bunch of different objectives we want to start aiming for. Initially, I'm looking at the rejection block. I want to get above that for tomorrow, getting into that halfway point or higher of the wick than the body of, or the bottom of the fair value gap. Get on top of that old high, then start looking at your 25, 50, 75, and upper ranges of the fair value gap on the weekly. A lot of stuff. I've been kind of jumping back and forth between this. Again, forgive me, this is my first official live stream. There we go. We have now filled that hourly fair value gap. Right there. We've come back to inside the 50% of that range. Now, we've also hit the fair value gap on the daily. That's my objective for the day is done. Now, if this continues down, we're looking at these old highs back here, these equal highs. If it comes down, tags that one more time, which is also the top of this fair value gap here. Get some support at that. We're going to start to look for getting to the midpoint of this and start to push higher. So that's my next area of support. I don't want it to, if we get a body go down below that and come back into this, now we're between this fair value gap that formed here and these old highs here. So we're kind of jamming up inside these, that fair value gap there and that one there. So we're kind of jamming up inside these, this breaker again, where we come back to this old breaker, last up close candle before run below an old low. We stayed right inside that. Look how we stayed inside that just all day, just bang, or not all day, for these 2 hours. Hit off of them, ran back through, and then we are looking to come back one more time maybe and tag that and go. So now it's all filled, all done, How's it going to react here? So let's go down to our 15-minute just to show you that that was our objective there. Filled, done. Now we're inside that little guy right there. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at this one here. If we get some support here, last down close candle before run above an old high, little breaker here. Coming inside that, right in the threshold. We'll see how that threshold holds. We could come back into this order block here. Premium range, discount range. So if you're looking at the point where it actually left to there, that's 50%. We're into the discount range right now. If we pull this all the way back down to the very largest part of that range, 50%, there's 62% right off the tip of that order block. And also brings us inside that fair value gap. So how are we holding on this? Are we going to drive through to the second one, into a deeper discount to start running back higher? Or are we looking to push all the way through here? So our line in the sand is going to be this 50% of this order block right here. If we lose that line in the sand there, then we're going to run for these lows. Finish off the rest of this fair value gap down here, and then run these old lows out. Don't start looking for deeper objectives yet, but these ones down here, relative equal lows, finish off of a fair value gap. Those are a whole bunch of PD arrays away. I find a lot of people when I'm talking to guys, they end up trying to reach for too many PD arrays past what is the time frame I'm in, what PD array is the next one you want to reach for, and what's the likelihood of that one being lost, and reaching for a deeper PD array. So stay in the one you're in. Okay, so now we've eaten through that one. Now we're looking for this PD array. There's nothing to key off here to get long or short. We're just watching. We're inside this little consolidation of range on the day. We're moving into a discount. That's going to be our key level right there. We don't want to lose half of that order block. So I'd like to see this stay open to keep running back up, but 62% will give us a nice discount. And we're coming back into the fair value gap on the daily again. We didn't just tag it and leave, which is what we were kind of looking for. It didn't. So now we're looking for something deeper. So let's keep an eye on, I'll keep an eye on that, and we'll have a chat again tomorrow morning. Thanks for, if you're looking at this video after the fact, thanks for popping by. And we will see you again tomorrow at the Breakfast Club. Have a great one, guys. Okay, now I gotta figure out how to stop this thing because I don't know how to do it. Hang on. Oh, there you go. Stop stream. Have a good one.